She asked where the almond milk was without looking up from her phone. That's when I knew I was done. 3 years of being invisible, of being furniture in my own house. I left without a word that night. Now she's calling 43 times, texting 68 times, desperate. Too late. My name is Fletcher Kane. I'm 42 years old, and I manage a fleet of delivery trucks for a regional distribution company in Ohio. It's honest work. I've been doing it for 16 years, ever since my first marriage ended. That divorce taught me something. I'd rather be alone than feel lonely next to someone. Funny how I forgot that lesson the second time around. I met Elise at a company barbecue 5 years ago. She worked in accounting. Beautiful woman. Dark hair, sharp wit, and this way of making you feel like you're the only person in the room. That feeling lasted about 8 months into the marriage. The morning it ended started like any other Wednesday. I was making coffee when Elise came downstairs, already scrolling through her phone. "Where did you put the almond milk?" she asked without looking up. I opened the fridge and handed it to her. She took it without a word. No thank you. No eye contact. Just her thumb moving on that screen like I was an appliance. I stood there, and something shifted in my chest. Not anger. Something quieter and more final. "Elise," I said. She didn't respond. I watched her pour the milk, put the carton back, walk to the table. Still scrolling. "Elise," I repeated louder. She made the sound without looking up. That was it. That, told me everything. I was background noise. A mosquito buzzing near her ear instead of her husband. I had a son from my first marriage. Nolan, 16, lived with his mother Jolene up in Cleveland. Last time he visited, about a month ago, he pulled me aside after dinner. "Dad, why do you let her treat you like that?" Nolan asked quietly. "Like what, buddy?" "Like you're invisible." Out of the mouths of teenagers. The kid saw in one weekend what I've been ignoring for 3 years. I gave him some garbage answer about marriage being complicated. He nodded, but I saw the disappointment in his eyes. My son thought I was weak. He was right. That Wednesday, I went to work like normal. Checked maintenance logs, handled a driver dispute, dealt with a delayed shipment. But my mind was elsewhere. I kept thinking about Nolan's question. About that, about the last time Elise actually looked at me when we talked. I couldn't remember. That night, I sat at the kitchen table after Elise went to bed. I thought about writing a note, an explanation. But what could I say? "Dear Elise, you forgot I exist, so I'm leaving." So I didn't write anything. I just sat there until 2 a.m., then packed a bag and walked out. I left my wedding ring on the counter next to the almond milk. I didn't slam the door. I didn't leave a note. I just left. It's been 71 days. She's called 43 times. Texted 68 times. Even sent a Facebook message, which was wild because she never used Facebook. I haven't responded to any of it. Not out of spite. I just don't have anything to say. For 3 years, she had every chance to see me. Now that I'm gone, suddenly she wants to talk. But some silences last too long to break. I rented a studio apartment on the other side of Columbus. Nothing fancy, just a place with a bed, a hot plate, and a window that faced a parking lot. But it was mine. Nobody expected anything from me there. The first week was strange. I kept waking up at 5 a.m. out of habit, ready to make coffee for 2. Then I'd remember. Just me now. I could make coffee at noon if I wanted. Could drink it straight from the pot. Could leave the dishes in the sink overnight. Freedom felt emptier than I'd expected. Work kept me busy. My boss, a guy named Dale, noticed something was different, but didn't pry. That's what I appreciated about working with trucks and logistics. Men who did this job didn't ask personal questions. They just showed up and got it done. But on day 12, my phone rang during lunch. Jolene's name flashed on the screen. "Fletcher," Jolene said when I answered, her voice tight. "We need to talk. Everything okay with Nolan?" My chest went tight. That was always the first thought. Is my son all right? "Nolan's fine. But your wife showed up at my house last night," Jolene said. I sat up straighter. Elise came to Cleveland. Drove 3 hours apparently. Rang my doorbell at 9 p.m., mascara running down her face, asking if I knew where you were. She looked like she'd been crying for days. I didn't say anything. What could I say? Jolene continued, her tone shifting to something softer. "Fletcher, I never thought I'd say this, but that woman is falling apart. She sat on my porch for an hour, just crying. Kept saying she didn't realize, didn't see, didn't understand. Did you tell her where I am?" I asked. "No. You asked me not to, so I didn't." But Fletcher, I gotta ask, what happened? I mean, I saw how she treated you. Nolan saw it too. But this woman on my porch, she looked destroyed. I leaned back against the break room wall. She ignored me for 3 years, Jolene. 3 years of being invisible in my own house. Now I'm gone, and suddenly she cares. Maybe she needed you to leave to realize what she had, Jolene said quietly. I'm not defending her. God knows I saw how she was. But people don't always know what they've got until it's gone. That's not my problem anymore, I said, but even as I said it, something twisted in my gut. I know, and I'm not telling you what to do. But Nolan asked me something last night after she left. He said, Mom, do you think Dad's okay? Not physically. He meant in here. I imagined Jolene tapping her chest over her heart. He's worried about you. Tell him I'm fine, I said. Are you? I looked around the break room. Motivational poster about teamwork on the wall. Coffee stains on the table. The hum of the vending machine. Was I fine? I'm better than I was. I finally answered. Tell Nolan I'll call him this weekend. All right. But Fletcher, whatever you decide about Elise, make sure it's for you. Not because you feel guilty. Not because she's crying. For you. After we hung up, I sat there for another 20 minutes. Elise had driven 3 hours to find me. She was falling apart. Part of me felt vindicated. The bigger part felt nothing at all. Maybe that was the saddest part. I didn't hate her. I just didn't care anymore. 3 weeks in, I started going to the gym near my apartment. Not some fancy place with juice bars and trainers. Just a basic setup with weights and a heavy bag. I needed to hit something that wouldn't hit back. That's where I met Vincent. Former Army, late 50s, built like he was carved from stone. He spotted me struggling with a bench press one evening and walked over. Your form's garbage, Vincent said. No introduction, no sugarcoating. You're going to tear something. He showed me the right way. We didn't talk much that first session, but he was there the next night, and the next. By the second week, we developed a routine. Lift, hit the bag, barely speak. One night, after I'd beaten the heavy bag like it owed me money, Vincent handed me a water bottle. Woman or job? Vincent asked. What? Men don't hit a bag like that unless it's woman trouble or job trouble. Which one? Woman, I admitted, was married. She treated me like furniture. I left. Vincent nodded slowly. Good. Man who stays where he's not valued is no man at all. He's a doormat with a heartbeat. Those words hit different. Coming from a guy who'd probably seen real combat, who knew what actual strength looked like, it meant something. My ex-wife showed up at my first wife's house crying. I said, drove 3 hours looking for me. Let me guess. Now she realizes what she lost, Vincent said, wiping sweat from his face. They always do. Question is, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. I'm done. Then be done. Don't half-step. Don't feel guilty. You gave her years to see you. That's on her. Vincent picked up his gym bag. Same time tomorrow. Yeah. Thanks, Vincent. Don't thank me. Just show up and stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're free. Act like it. Walking back to my apartment that night, I felt something shift. Vincent was right. I was free. For the first time in years. Nobody expected me to be smaller than I was. The next morning, I called Nolan. Hey, Dad. Nolan answered, sounding surprised. Everything okay? Everything's fine, buddy. I just wanted to check in. Your mom told me Elise showed up. Yeah, that was weird. She looked really messed up, Dad. Like, really bad. Nolan said carefully. I know. But Nolan, I need you to understand something. What happened between Elise and me, that's not your responsibility. You don't need to worry about either of us. I'm doing good. Better than good, actually. You sound different, Nolan observed. Different how? I don't know. Stronger, I guess. Like you're not apologizing for existing. Out of the mouths of teenagers. I'm working on it. Hey, you want to come down this weekend? We could catch a game, grab some food. Really? Yeah, that'd be awesome, Nolan said, his voice brightening. Can we go to that barbecue place you like? Absolutely. I'll pick you up Saturday morning. After we hung up, I sat there smiling. My son noticed I was different. That meant something. That meant I was doing this right. Saturday with Nolan was exactly what I needed. We hit the barbecue place, caught a minor league baseball game, and just talked. Not about Elise, not about the divorce, just normal father-son stuff. He told me about school, about this girl he liked but was too nervous to talk to, about his plans after graduation. Dropping him off Sunday afternoon, Jolene walked out to meet us. He had a great time, I told Jolene. Thanks for letting him come down on short notice. Of course. Fletcher, can we talk for a second? Jolene glanced at Nolan. Go inside, honey. I need to talk to your dad. Once Nolan was in the house, Jolene's expression shifted. Elise came back yesterday, Jolene said quietly. Sat in her car across the street for 4 hours. Just sat there, watching the house. It freaked me out enough that I almost called the police. My jaw tightened. Did she try to approach you? No. She just sat there. Finally drove off around dinner time. But Fletcher, this isn't normal behavior. The woman is obsessed with finding you, Jolene said, concern creasing her face. I'll handle it. How? You can't just ignore someone who's borderline stalking people to find you, Jolene countered. Look, I know she treated you badly. I saw it. But this level of desperation, it's concerning. What if she shows up at your work? That thought hadn't occurred to me. Elise knew where I worked. She could walk into the depot anytime. I'll figure something out. I'm sorry she's dragging you into this, I said. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about what happens when she finally finds you, Jolene said. Just be careful, okay? Driving back to Columbus, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Fletcher Kane. An unfamiliar woman's voice. Who's asking? My name is Geneva Hart. I'm an attorney. I think we need to talk about your wife, the woman said, professional and direct. Or rather, about what she's been doing with your credit. My stomach dropped. What are you talking about? Mr. Kane, I don't typically make calls like this, but a colleague mentioned your situation. I ran a basic check on your financials as a favor, and there are some irregularities you need to know about. Credit cards open in your name, significant charges. Can we meet? Geneva asked. When? Tomorrow. My office. 9 a.m. She gave me the address. I sat in my truck outside Jolene's house for another 10 minutes, gripping the steering wheel. Credit cards? What had Elise done? The next morning, I walked into Geneva Hart's office. She was late 50s, gray hair pulled back sharp, wearing a suit that meant business. No nonsense in her handshake. Mr. Kane, thank you for coming. Let me be direct. Your wife has opened 3 credit cards using your information. Total balance, $47,000, Geneva said, sliding papers across her desk. The room tilted. 47,000? On what? Wellness retreats. Something called spiritual healing sessions with a man named Desmond. Luxury accommodations in Sedona, Hawaii, Colorado. This wasn't casual spending. This was systematic. I stared at the statements. Charges going back 18 months. Hotels. Flights. Sessions at $500 per hour. Desmond, I said quietly, the name tasting like poison. Her spiritual advisor. Geneva's expression hardened. Mr. Kane, I've seen this before. These advisors target vulnerable people. But the issue here is she used your credit to fund it. That's fraud. You have grounds for legal action. Against Elise? Against both of them. But first, we need to protect you. Freeze these accounts. File a police report. Start building a case, Geneva said. I know this is overwhelming, but you need to act fast. I looked at the papers again. $47,000. While I was working 10-hour days, managing truck routes, she was flying Hawaii with another man on my dime. Let's do it, I said. All of it. Geneva smiled just slightly. Good. Men who let themselves get walked on usually don't find their spine. I'm glad you did. Geneva worked fast. Within 3 days, the credit cards were frozen, police report filed, and divorce papers drafted. She'd also done something I hadn't asked for. She tracked down Desmond. His real name is Desmond Parrish, Geneva said during our follow-up meeting, sliding a file across her desk. He's 41, no legitimate credentials, and he's done this before. 3 other women in the past 5 years. Same pattern. Poses as a spiritual healer, builds emotional dependency, drains bank accounts. I opened the file. Photos of Desmond. Handsome guy, I'd give him that. The kind of face that probably made women feel safe while he picked their pockets. Where is he now? I asked. Arizona. Tucson. Running another healing center. That's really just a way to meet desperate women with money, Geneva replied. But here's the interesting part. Your wife has been calling him nonstop since you left. 20, 30 times a day. He stopped answering. Something cold settled in my chest. She was using him, or he was using her. Both probably. These relationships are transactional. She wanted validation. He wanted money. Now that you're gone and the money's cut off, he's moved on to the next mark, Geneva explained. Which means Elise is about to realize she burned her marriage for a con artist who never cared about her. Good, I said flatly. Geneva studied me. You know, most men in your position want revenge. You just want out. That's smart. Shows character. I just want my life back. You'll get it. The fraud charges will stick. The divorce will be straightforward given the evidence. You'll come out of this clean, Mr. Kane, Geneva assured me. Then she paused. But I should warn you. When cornered, people get desperate. Your wife knows she's losing everything. That makes her unpredictable. Her words proved prophetic faster than I expected. 2 days later, I was at work when Dale came into my office, looking uncomfortable. Fletcher, there's a woman in the parking lot asking for you, Dale said carefully. Says she's your wife. She's been out there for an hour. Security's getting nervous. My stomach dropped. I'll handle it. I walked outside to find Elise standing next to her car. She looked terrible, hair unwashed, clothes wrinkled, dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't hide. When she saw me, she straightened up. Fletcher, please, we need to talk, Elise said, her voice breaking. There's nothing to talk about. You'll be served divorce papers next week, I replied, keeping my distance. I made a mistake. I know I did. But we can fix this. We can go to counseling, work it out, Elise started. You opened credit cards in my name. I interrupted. Spent $47,000 on another man. That's not a mistake, Elise. That's fraud. Her face went pale. How did you? I can explain that. Desmond was helping me through a difficult time. You were always working, never there. Don't you dare blame me for your choices, I said, my voice hard. I work to support us. You took that money and spent it on a con artist who won't even answer your calls anymore. She flinched. You've been checking up on me? My attorney has. You're being investigated for fraud. The police have your statements. This isn't about our marriage anymore. This is about what you did, I stated clearly. Elise's expression shifted from desperate to angry. You're really going to destroy me over this? After everything I gave you. What did you give me, Elise? 3 years of being invisible, of being treated like I was nothing. I asked, my voice steady. You ignored me until I left. Now regret is eating you alive, and you're desperately searching for me. But it's too late. I'm done. Fletcher, go home, Elise. Get a lawyer. And don't come to my workplace again, or I'll file for a restraining order. I turned and walked back inside, leaving her standing in the parking lot. Through the window, I watched her sit in her car for another 20 minutes before finally driving away. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From relief. I stood my ground. Hadn't backed down. Hadn't let guilt manipulate me. Vincent would be proud. That night at the gym, I hit the heavy bag until my knuckles ached. Vincent watched from across the room, said nothing until I finally stopped. She showed up at your work, Vincent said. Not a question. How'd you know? You're hitting that bag like it insulted your mother. What happened? Vincent asked. I told him everything. The parking lot confrontation. The fraud charges. The divorce papers coming. Vincent nodded slowly. You handled it right. Stayed calm, stated facts, walked away. That's strength. Real strength isn't about fighting. It's about knowing when the fight's already over. She looked destroyed. I admitted. That's not your problem. She destroyed herself. You're just refusing to go down with the ship, Vincent said firmly. Don't confuse witnessing someone's consequences with causing them. Over the next week, things moved quickly. Divorce papers were served. Elise's attorney tried to negotiate, but Geneva was ruthless. The fraud evidence was ironclad. Elise had 2 choices: accept the terms or face criminal charges. She accepted. The settlement was clean. She got nothing except her personal belongings. The house would be sold, debts paid from her half. I kept my truck, my pension, my dignity. Geneva called me the day the papers were finalized. Congratulations, Mr. Kane. You're officially divorced, Geneva said. And I have to say, this might be the cleanest cut I've seen in 20 years. She didn't fight, didn't drag it out. I think reality finally hit her. What about Desmond? He's being investigated. Turns out one of his other victims filed charges 6 months ago. Your case added to the pile. He'll probably be arrested within a month, Geneva explained. So in a way, you helped take down a predator. After we hung up, I called Nolan. Hey buddy, got some news. The divorce is final. I told him. How do you feel? Nolan asked. Honestly? Free. Like I can breathe again, I said. Hey, I was thinking, how would you feel about spending more time down here? Maybe alternate weeks instead of just weekends. Really? Yeah, that'd be awesome. Mom won't mind. Nolan sounded excited. I'll talk to her. But Nolan, I want you to know something. What happened with Elise, that wasn't about you. And you being worried about me, noticing I wasn't okay, that meant everything. You're a good kid. Thanks, Dad. And Dad, I'm glad you left. You seem like yourself again. Those words stayed with me for days. I seemed like myself again. Maybe because I finally was. 2 months after the divorce, I'd settled into a rhythm. Work, gym, occasional dinners with Nolan when he visited. Life was quiet but mine. Then Randall showed up. I was leaving the depot after a long shift when a man approached me in the parking lot. Mid-40s, tired eyes, cautious posture. Fletcher Kane, the man asked. Who's asking? I kept my keys between my fingers, ready. My name is Randall. I'm Elise's ex-husband, he said, holding up his hands in a peace gesture. I'm not here to cause trouble. I just need to talk to you about something important. I studied him. He didn't look threatening, just exhausted. All right, 5 minutes, I said. Randall nodded, leaning against his truck. I heard about your divorce. News travels in small circles. I wanted to warn you about something. Elise has kids. 2 of them. Mine. A boy who's 10 and a girl who's 8. My stomach went cold. What? She left us 6 years ago. Just walked out one morning, left a note saying she wasn't meant to be a mother. Haven't seen her since. No calls, no birthday cards, nothing. Randall explained, his voice heavy with old pain. My kids ask about her sometimes. I don't know what to tell them anymore. I leaned back against my truck, processing this. She told me she never wanted kids. Said she couldn't imagine being a mother. She didn't have to imagine it. She lived it and hated it enough to abandon her own children. Randall said bitterly. Look, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but when I found out she'd remarried, I thought maybe she'd changed. Then I heard about the divorce, about what she did to you, and I realized she hasn't changed at all. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because you deserve better than what she gave you, and because I want you to know that whatever guilt you're feeling about leaving her, you can let it go. You're not the first person she threw away when things got inconvenient. You're just the first one who had the guts to leave before she destroyed you completely, Randall said, meeting my eyes. My kids, they're good kids. They deserved a mother who stayed. You deserved a wife who saw you. Neither of us got what we deserved from her. We stood there in silence for a moment. How are your kids doing? I asked. Better now. Took a lot of therapy, but they're resilient. Kids are tougher than we think, Randall said with a small smile. They've got me. They've got my parents. They've got stability. That's more than Elise ever gave them. I'm sorry she did that to them, I said sincerely. Me too, but I'm not sorry anymore that she left. My kids are better off without someone who didn't want them, Randall replied. And you're better off without someone who didn't value you. After Randall drove away, I sat in my truck for a long time. Elise had abandoned her own children. The woman I'd married, the woman I'd tried so hard to please, had walked away from 2 innocent kids like they meant nothing. Suddenly, everything made sense. The coldness, the emotional distance, the way she treated me like I was disposable. She'd done it before. I was just another person in a pattern she'd repeated. That night, I called Nolan. Hey, Dad, Nolan answered. What's up? Just wanted to hear your voice. Tell you that I love you, and I'm proud of you. I said, Dad, are you okay? Nolan sounded concerned. Yeah, buddy. I'm good. Better than good. I just realized how lucky I am to have you in my life. I told him honestly. Love you too, Dad. You're being weird, but I'll take it, Nolan said with a laugh. After we hung up, I looked around my small apartment. It wasn't much, but it was honest. No lies. No hidden children. No financial fraud. Just me, try to build something real. And that was enough. 3 months post-divorce, my boss Dale called me into his office. Fletcher, I've been watching you these past few months. You've been solid, reliable, showing up every day despite everything going on in your personal life, Dale said, leaning back in his chair. I'm promoting you to regional operations manager. Means more money, more responsibility, and honestly, you've earned it. I stood there, momentarily speechless. Dale, I don't know what to say. Say yes. Company needs good people. You're good people, Dale replied with a grin. Plus, you'll finally be able to afford a place bigger than that shoebox apartment. He was right about that. With the promotion, I could actually start rebuilding. Not just existing, but living. That weekend, I went house hunting. Found a small 3-bedroom place on the outskirts of Columbus. Nothing fancy, but it had a yard, a garage, and most importantly, a room for Nolan. I signed the papers the following week. Moving day, Vincent showed up with his truck. You didn't have to help, I said, surprised to see him. Man doesn't move alone. That's just sad, Vincent replied, already grabbing boxes. Besides, I wanted to see what you'd built for yourself. By afternoon, with Vincent's help and some guys from work, everything was moved in. We sat on the back porch with beers, looking at the empty yard. You did good, Fletcher. From doormat to homeowner in 4 months. Not bad, Vincent said approvingly. Couldn't have done it without your help. The gym, the talks, keeping me focused, I admitted. I just reminded you that you had a spine. You're the one who decided to use it, Vincent countered. So what's next? Next, I focus on work, on Nolan, on building something stable. Maybe eventually I'll think about dating again, but not for a while. I need to figure out who I am outside of being someone's husband, I said thoughtfully. Smart. Man who knows himself is dangerous. In a good way, Vincent said with a slight smile. Later that evening, Nolan arrived with Jolene to see the new place. Dad, this is amazing. Nolan ran through the house, checking out his room, the garage, everything. Can I really stay here on weekends? Weekends, holidays, summer, whenever you want. This is your home too, I told him. After Jolene left, Nolan and I sat in his room while he unpacked the stuff he brought. Dad, can I ask you something? Nolan looked up from organizing his desk. Anything, buddy. Are you happy now? Like really happy? Nolan asked seriously. I thought about it. The divorce, the betrayal, the financial mess, the confrontation, but also the gym, the promotion, this house, the freedom to be myself. Yeah, Nolan, I really am. I said honestly. Good. You deserve it. Nolan said simply, then went back to unpacking. Standing in the doorway watching my son settle into his room in our new house, I realized something. Elise had taken a lot from me. Time, money, self-respect. But she hadn't taken everything. She hadn't taken my ability to start over, to build something real, to be the father my son needed. I'd survived. More than that, I'd won. Not by destroying her, but by refusing to let her destroy me. That night, lying in my new bedroom in my new house, I slept better than I had in years. 5 months after the divorce, I ran into Elise at a grocery store. Not the one near my old house. This was across town, near my new place. Pure coincidence. She was in the produce section, looking at apples like they held the secrets of the universe. She'd lost weight. Too much weight. Her clothes hung loose, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked up and saw me. For a moment, neither of us moved. Fletcher, Elise said quietly, setting down the apple she'd been holding. Elise, I replied, keeping my distance. I heard about your promotion. Congratulations, she said, and I heard genuine emotion in her voice. Not manipulation, just exhaustion. Thank you. She took a breath. I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I don't deserve even 5 minutes of your time, but I need to say something, and then I'll leave you alone forever. I glanced at my watch. You've got 5 minutes. Elise nodded, her eyes welling up. I was wrong. About everything. I took you for granted. I ignored you for years, treated you like you were invisible, like you didn't matter. And now regret is eating me alive. And I spent months desperately searching for you, trying to fix what I destroyed. She paused, wiping her eyes. Desmond was arrested last month. Fraud charges for multiple women. I was just another mark to him. I threw away a good man, a real marriage, for a con artist who never cared about me. And the worst part is, I knew, deep down, I knew you were good. And I still treated you like you were nothing. Why are you telling me this? I asked, my voice steady. Because you deserved better than what I gave you. You deserved to be seen, to be valued, to be loved. And I couldn't do any of that because I was too busy running for myself. Elise said, her voice breaking. I left my kids, Fletcher. Randall told you, didn't he? I nodded. I was a terrible mother. I was a terrible wife. To both of you. And I can't fix that. I can't undo what I did. But I wanted you to know that you leaving, that was the best thing that could have happened. Not for me. For you. You deserve to be free. Elise finished, tears streaming down her face. I stood there, looking at this woman who'd once been my wife. I didn't feel anger. Didn't feel satisfaction. Just a quiet acceptance. I hope you figure out whatever you're running from, I said finally. I hope you get help. I hope you become the person you should have been. But I can't be part of that journey. I've got my own life now. I know. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Truly sorry. You were a good man, Fletcher. You still are. And I'm the one who lost, Elise said softly. Take care of yourself, Elise, I replied, then walked past her toward the checkout. I didn't look back. Didn't need to. That chapter was closed. 8 months after leaving, life had found its rhythm. Work was good. Nolan was spending alternating weeks at my house, thriving. I'd even started dating casually. Nothing serious, just coffee and conversation with a woman named Patricia I'd met at a bookstore. She was a high school teacher, divorced, had 2 kids of her own. We took it slow. One Saturday morning, Nolan and I were working on fixing up the garage when my phone rang. Geneva Hart. Mr. Kane, wanted to update you. Desmond Parrish was sentenced yesterday. 5 years federal prison for fraud. Your case was instrumental in the conviction, Geneva said. That's good news, I replied, genuinely relieved. Also, your ex-wife has entered a treatment program. Residential facility. She'll be there for at least 90 days, Geneva continued. I'm telling you because she signed over custody of her children back to Randall officially. She's trying to make amends. After we hung up, I stood there processing it. Elise was getting help. That was good. Not my problem anymore, but still good. Dad, everything okay? Nolan asked, setting down his wrench. Yeah, buddy. Everything's good. Better than good. Actually, I said, looking around at the garage we were converting into a workshop. Come on, let's finish this up, then grab lunch. Can we go to that barbecue place? Nolan asked with a grin. Absolutely. Later that evening, Vincent came by to check out the garage progress. We stood in the driveway, beers in hand, watching the sunset. You look settled, Vincent observed. Content. That's good to see. I feel settled. Got work I'm good at, got my son here regularly, got a house that's mine. Even started seeing someone, I admitted. The teacher? Vincent asked. I'd mentioned Patricia once at the gym. Yeah, nothing serious yet, but she's good people. Makes me laugh. Actually listens when I talk. Weird concept, right? I said with a smile. Not weird. Normal. That's what you should have had all along, Vincent replied. You did good, Fletcher. Most men would have gone back. Guilt, loneliness, whatever. But you stayed gone. Built something real. That takes guts. Couldn't have done it without you pushing me at the gym, reminding me I had a spine, I said sincerely. You always had it. You just forgot for a while, Vincent corrected. So what's next? Next? Keep building. Keep showing Nolan what a good man looks like. Keep being honest with myself and with people around me. Maybe see where things go with Patricia. Just keep moving forward, I explained. Vincent raised his beer. To moving forward. To moving forward, I echoed, clinking bottles. That night, after Vincent left and Nolan was asleep in his room, I sat on my back porch looking at the stars. I thought about where I'd been 8 months ago. Invisible in my own home. Walking on eggshells. Convinced that being quiet and accommodating was the same as being strong. I'd learned the hard way that real strength wasn't about staying. It was about knowing when to leave. About protecting yourself. About refusing to shrink to fit someone else's expectations. Elise had ignored me for years. Then, when I left, regret ate her alive while she desperately searched for me. But by then, it was too late. I'd already found myself, and that self was stronger, clearer, more honest than I'd ever been. My phone buzzed. Text from Patricia. Hope you had a good day. Coffee tomorrow. I smiled and typed back. Sounds perfect. I was 42 years old. I'd been married twice. I'd been taken for granted, financially betrayed, emotionally abandoned. But I'd survived all of it. More than survived. I'd built something real from the ashes. And for the first time in years, I was excited about tomorrow.